Hi, fourth grade. Today's lesson is graffiti art. We're going to learn how to write our name in a bubble letter or a block letter, and then we're going to change those letters around so they don't look like anything that they're supposed to look like. Let's come down to the board so you can see what I'm talking about. So the first thing you need to know how to do is to draw your name in a bubble letter or a block letter. If you don't know how to do that, let me show you. I'm going to write the word name just like I would normally write it. I'm not sure if you could see it with my pencil. Let me draw it in marker so you can see it. The students here are going to use pencil first, and while you're at home you should probably use pencil also. It's very easy to erase pencil. It's not so easy to erase marker. To make a bubble letter of this word, name, you're going to draw a bubble all the way around each letter. Think Bubble Bob or Bubble Buddy from SpongeBob. It's just one rounded edged shape all the way around. If you have drawn your little skeleton line in the center in pencil, the next step would be to erase that, but since we've already covered it with marker, I'm not going to be able to erase it. Now you can see the benefit of being able to erase that. See how I have a nice round bubble? What if I want to write that in a block letter? Let's try yellow. Maybe that won't make it stand out so much. There we go. Using yellow makes it look just perfect. So if I want to change this one into a block, everything I'm going to draw has to have a sharp angle. So instead of making anything round and curved, everything is going to be boxes. Even the letter A, which can be a little tricky, but if you have the little triangles on the top and the bottom, it will look like a letter A. Box around the E, box in the center. There are also ways to combine some elements of the bubble letter with some elements of the box letter. So let's write it one more time, and you can see a way to combine the two elements. Some of the areas can have a box, but some of the areas want to have a curve. I tend to do this for my letters mostly because I like the way it looks. You can choose either shape, whichever one is more appealing to you. Once you get the style that you like, the next step is going to be making them a little closer together. Okay, I'm going to take the design from the bottom, since I already said that one was my favorite. If you still need the guidelines of the little skeleton in the center, please feel free to draw them again. I'm just going to draw my letters one more time, bigger. And this time I'm going to try to draw them so that they all touch each other. Something we're not supposed to be doing right now, but the letters don't catch COVID, so it's okay if they touch. And the letter E right up to the edge of the paper. Good. Now I have a nice big name and all of my letters are touching. In class, we're going to take 5 minutes between steps. We're going to show you how to do the bubbles or blocks, and then I'm going to take 5 minutes to let the kids draw them. Then I will bring everybody back to the table. We're going to take another 5 minutes after I show them how to put things together bigger and make them touching. So you've got 5 minutes to go and draw this. You can pause your video and then come right back and I'll show you the next step. For my next step, I want to look at my letters a little closer and see if there is anything interesting that I can do to them to change them. Graffiti is typically something that's called stylized, which means you can't see the letters so much. They end up looking more like a big design rather than a word painted on a wall. So the way I want to change my letters is to change them so they don't look like the letters anymore. What if I decide that all of my, let's make the first letter and the last letter of my name really big. And then let's make the other two letters stacked up on top of each other. almost like they're squished between the walls of a building. Doesn't look so much like the word name anymore, does it? I like that. If I keep drawing and keep drawing, they're going to end up probably not fitting on this paper anymore, so I'm going to move one more time to an even larger piece of paper, and I'm going to draw it as big as possible. This time, I'm going to really exaggerate those letters that are smooshed in the middle. And make them look like they're really uncomfortable and really squished. And I'm going to take this letter E and make the top even taller. Looks like my letter N is hiding behind the A and the M. The A and the M. Yes, the A and the M. All right, this is getting to look more stylized and less like the word name. The last step in this is going to be adding some interesting designs. We don't want to have a design that is too plain and simple. So you can add some elements that go across all of the letters. You can make all of the letters polka dotted. You can make all the letters striped. If you see some of the examples that are posted on the Google Classroom, you can see what I'm talking about. I want to add some interest to it. So let's say I decide my letters are going to have a design that stretches all the way across the middle. If I want to take my pencil and I want to start designing first, I'm going to stretch everything right across the middle of my design. And then maybe I want this bottom part to be filled with circles. So any of the letters that end up underneath that center dividing design, we're going to have circles in them. And the top part, well, maybe the top part is just more echoes of this zigzag. Almost like flames or waves. Let's do one more. All right, my favorite time. It's time to color. You can color with any item that you have at home. You can use crayons, you can use markers, you could use paint. But please do not use spray paint on any building that does not belong to you, and most especially do not spray paint the inside or outside of your own home because your parents are going to be mad. I'm going to color this in time lapse so you can see what's going on, and we'll see you in just a minute. All right, as you can see, my design is completely colored, and now we're going to do a little bit extra. First thing I'd like to think about is the border. We want to beef up this outside edge. So to do that, we're going to take one of our markers. Now, we've talked about this before, but let's talk about it again just to see. This is a washable marker. This is called Crayola. This is a conical tip. It has a nice point, as you can see right there. Whoop, let me put it right here. See, it has a nice point. It's kind of round, like a cone. The best part about these markers is when you draw with a little more of an up and down motion, you're going to get a thin line. But if I take that marker and I just tilt it over the side a little bit, I can draw with a thick line. If you have markers like this at home, we're going to use that to our advantage, and we're going to make a nice big thick line around the edge of my design. I'm going to take the marker and slide it on its side, and I'm going to make a nice big thick green line all the way around the outside edge of my project. But Miss Huffman, what if I don't have a marker like this at home? Well, I'm pretty sure you can still create a big thick wide line with whatever you're coloring with. You just might have to go over it a couple of times. So if I have only skinny markers, I can just go over it a couple of times to make a nice thick wide line with my skinny pointed markers. I'm going to repeat this with 3 colors. I can use the same color 3 times. I can use 3 different colors, but what I want is a nice, big, beefy, thick line all the way around the edge. We want to bulk up that edge, so I'm going to do it 3 times. If you've used a small piece of paper and you get into that 3rd time around with a marker, you might be finding yourself on the edge or just over the edge. Not a problem. Just fill in where you can. You want a nice big fat wide line, and that's exactly what we've got with our project here. Now there are some areas that are still not colored. What about the inside of some of your letters? The inside of my E and the inside of my A. I can choose to color those in any way I like. I'm just going to take that a little bit, and with my final marker that I'm going around the edge, I'm going to add it into the center. Alright, last up, we still have a little bit of extra space. Now what we're going to do here in Lankerville is we're going to trim off that extra space just on the outside of all of my coloring. I want to keep all that big, bold, glorious border that I've created onto my project, and I only want to snip off the little bit of colors, the little bit of paper that is not colored. And what we are going to do, shh, don't tell anybody. What we're going to do is we're going to put some pieces of tape on the back of this project, and we're going to walk down the different hallways in the building, and we are going to just stick this on the wall as if some very dastardly person has come into the building and graffitied all over the walls. Of course, it's removable, so don't worry. Mr. Leiter is not going to be angry with us. Here you go. That was your graffiti art lesson. Don't forget, if you're working on this at home, that you need to upload a picture of your ideas and designs through Google Classroom. I cannot wait to see what you've been working on, and we'll see you again later. Bye.